All right, we're going to welcome everybody to the Kechi City Council meeting. Today is December 14th, 2023. It is now 7 o'clock. All right, Debbie, could you please call roll?
Here.
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 And I'm still going to remind everybody to use their mics. All right, if everyone can please stand for the pledge, but I do have two special guests if they'd like to come up here and help me out.
My name is Jake, and this is my sister Chloe.
They are the Dwyers.
Yeah, I meant to say that. Like this thing. It's okay. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you both.
We are going to move on to the next item, which is oath of office for Kendra Baldridge and Paul Dwyer. All right, Debbie.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of my office of council member. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sure.
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Kansas
of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
of council member.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, if you could vacate your seats. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you. What's that? Oh, thank you. Keep that.
The next item on the agenda is to approve tonight's consent agenda. Council, have you had time to review consent agenda? If so, do you have any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Todd, second by Matt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. Move on to approving tonight's agenda. Council, any questions about tonight's agenda, or Matt, any additions?
It is a stance.
I see no questions, so I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, or approve tonight's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Matt, second by Kendra. All in favor say aye.
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 Carries 4-0. Move on to the communication section. Recognition of outgoing council member Brian Adams and Richard Haddock. Brian, do you want to speak first, or can I do mine and then you do yours?
You go
or?
right ahead. If Richard has some words, that's fine.
Okay. You good with that, Richard?
Yeah.
All right.
Gotta get out my paper.
Tonight I would like to recognize two of our outgoing council members, Brian Adams and Richard Haddock. Two men who have dedicated themselves to the service of our citizens and work to make our community a better place. Brian, for over a decade, you've been a voice for the citizens of this community. During that time, you served under 4 mayors, 4 administrators, 4 police chiefs, and alongside 10 different council members. The historical background, wisdom, and experience you bring to this council will truly be missed. In addition to his duties, Brian is an active volunteer throughout the community and a familiar face at community events and in our local businesses. Brian, I appreciate the guidance and mentorship you have provided me as mayor. Your advice is irreplaceable, and I hope that I can continue to lean on you in the future. Richard, your contribution and perspectives have been invaluable to me and to this council. You have been a great advocate for increased communication and collaboration throughout the community. And the discussions that you helped facilitate, especially throughout the last budget cycle, were ones that the community desperately needed, and the example of the true servant you lead. Thank you. You have listened to our citizens and advocated for change. You have helped the city explore new possibilities for growth while always helping to maintain our identity. Richard, I have learned so much from you. Thank you for answering the endless questions and offering advice. I genuinely appreciate it, and it has helped me more than you know. Gentlemen, thank you for your friendship, and thank you for your service to our community. We wish you the best in everything you do.
Richard, would you like to say that?
I just think the city's in really good hands. I see a great group of people up there, and I know the city will be in great hands, so thank you.
I'm going to come up here. Everybody buckle in. I'm kidding.
10 years worth of words.
I do have a few words, so I hope you'll
That's single spaced.
But I did type it out, so I make sure I don't forget anything. First, I want to thank the citizens of Kechi for entrusting me to represent their interests for the last 14 years. I'm proud of the growth the city has experienced during that time and the direction in which the city is currently headed. My initial years on the council, city finances were precarious to say the least. The economy was still recovering from the 2008 recession, and the only real active developments we had at the time were Northwoods, which was progressing but slow, and Rock Point, which was struggling to say the least. The city had invested in putting in all the streets and utility infrastructure at Rock Point, but only 3 houses had been built, and there hadn't been any activity for several years. Property tax delinquencies were up, revenue was suffering, and the antique nature of the city's core was dying, and money was tight. Those were some tough years. Back then, votes were often easier. All we had to ask was, can we afford it, and is it in the budget? If it wasn't, it wasn't. Over the ensuing years, the economy improved, delinquencies went down, growth started back up, revenue increased, and we were able to have those deeper, long-term strategic discussions about the future of the city. One frustration I had early on was that streets always seemed to be at the bottom of the priority list, and deteriorating streets was consistently used as a reason to raise the mill levy. I always thought those should be funded first. That when you make your priority list, that's right up near the top, if not the top. And 3 things being top priority on my belief was streets, public safety, and quality of life, specifically parks, were things I always tried to champion. I remember driving down Baird Street behind the Methodist Church across the street here. It's a street that I didn't frequent very often, just had no reason to drive down there. But after I came on the council, that became a discussion point. and it was in terrible shape. And I wondered how it got that bad, but after several months on here, I saw how the budget worked and saw why we struggled with it. For a few years, we had to keep kicking that down the road, but we finally prioritized it and fixed it. And where did I go here? Well, we finally prioritized it and fixed it, which was good. I think I lost some of my. Forgive me here. I'm gonna read from the phone, I guess, because I have it on here too. And print it. I'll probably. For a few years, we had to keep kicking it down the road, but finally we prioritized it and fixed it, which was a situation that led to, for many years now, the council dedicating 6 mills of revenue and earmarking it for streets. It started at 3 mills and we slowly inched it up. I'm proud that we've maintained that in each subsequent budget, but that's a yearly decision that the council has to make actively in each budget process. It would be real easy to let that money default back to the general fund, but I hope that you all will continue that practice of ensuring those 6 mills get first earmarked for streets. Over the 14 years, I feel fortunate to have worked with a dozen, well, and my numbers are slightly different than yours, but we won't quibble over it, they're close. I counted a dozen council members, 4 mayors, 3 clerks, 4 city administrators, 2 public works directors, and a half a dozen police chiefs. I'd like to mention a few by name. First, Thomas Bevan. Like Larry Kellenberger before you, I explicitly trust your knowledge, skill, and leadership of the public works crew. You and your team keep the utilities running, streets maintained, snow cleared, and most importantly, KDHE happy.
Yes.
I know that's just a small portion of your job responsibilities, but you do a great job, so thank you. Second, Teresa Moreland. Like Laura Hill before you, you've been the face of the city. You keep the trains running on time, you're organized, and you can be found often volunteering in every event the city has. If there's a question about the city that can be known, you're generally the person that knows it. Your commitment to the city goes beyond it just being a job. Thank you for all you do and for all you've done to make our jobs on the council easier. Having a staff that does a good job is critical, but finding ones that care about the city as much as you both do, that's amazing. Chief Moore. In the relatively short time you've been with us, I couldn't be more pleased with the leadership and culture that you've implemented in pursuit of public safety, and I rest easy knowing that you're at the helm of the police department. Thank you for all you and your team do.
Yes, sir.
Administrator Ginsby. It's only meeting number 2. And the last. But based on the few meetings and conversations we've had, I expect you'll do well, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
To the mayor and council and my council colleagues, I've appreciated the conversations, debates, and working relationships I've had with each of you. I have no doubt that each of you wants what's best for the citizens of Kechi. We sometimes weigh values differently, but that's okay, and that's why there's 6 seats up there. There are a couple of council members I'd like to thank specifically. First, my late friend Kevin O'Pat. Many of you may have known him. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Kevin loved this city. He served on the council, I believe, 26 years, you told me, Teresa? 18 years before I came to the council. I remember him from the first council meeting I attended as a new resident back in 1998. His knowledge, his positive demeanor, his sense of humor were a joy to be around. He was always patient and helpful with me when I struggled to get my head around those complex situations in municipal operations. Kevin often used the saying of doing things the Kechi way. It took me a while to fully grasp what he meant by that, but to sum it up, I think he just meant that he wanted to cut through all the red tape, do what was right and necessary to serve the citizens. I know that has and will become increasingly difficult as the city continues to grow, but I always respected that about him, and I hope it's an ideal that carries on with all of you. Second, my friend, Matt Werber. I've so appreciated the time you and I have spent talking, mostly on the phone while you were commuting back and forth to Kansas City, and as we worked through sometimes difficult subjects. We didn't always agree, but we could always disagree well. You often say that iron sharpens iron. I found that to be true, and I hope I've sharpened you just a fraction as much as you've sharpened me. I believe that Kechi has a bright future. As I mentioned that 14 years ago, Rock Point was struggling mightily. Northwoods was developing slowly. Those are both now fully developed, and we've made economic development investments that have ample shovel-ready ground along Tigua, Venture Court, and Snowbird. And there's future opportunity with the Sunrise property as well. Those are all things that we put the money into, really they put the money into through the special taxes. Those are all things that can pay off in the future. We've seen the investments that Meter Engineers, Sillison & Sons, the Highway Patrol, James Mason Properties, and all the businesses along Huffman have made to the city. I firmly believe that much of that investment came our way because of the relatively low mill levy that Kechi has. I hope that you all see the strategic value that has for economic development future of Kechi and keep that competitive advantage alive. Lastly, a family story from a few months ago. I had discussed with my family back in April that I wouldn't be seeking re-election this year, so that meant I wouldn't be on the council next year. We hadn't really discussed it since then, but one night in September or October, I arrived home after a longer than normal council meeting. It was past the kids' bedtime, but as I came into the house, my 8-year-old son, Quincy, called me into his room and asked me how the meeting went. I said it went well, told him a few of the things we talked about, and he asked me who would be making all the decisions when I left the council. I said, I don't know, it depends on who the citizens vote for in November. He replied, okay, well, when you know, tell them that the world needs more chickens. I'm not sure why he didn't lobby that earlier in my time on the council, but at this point, I hand it over to you guys. Thank you all.
So we do have a small token of our appreciation for both of you. Can't grab the whole things. I think I'm good now. As long as I don't drop them. See how this goes. Or slip down the stairs, you know. Okay, here's the white.
Okay.
We hold that. And that is for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
Can I
Appreciate you guys.
Yes.
before you guys go,
Yeah.
I want to read the dedications to them,
Yes.
just so that you're all aware of how the staff feels and how the
Yes.
to Brian Adams, City Council Member, for dedication, commitment, and service to the City of Kechi through fiscal responsibility and thoughtful consideration, for your willingness to stand by your convictions even in the face of adversity.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. These are the words they get to look at, and this is how the staff has felt. In appreciation to Richard Haddock, Council Member, for dedicated service to the City of Kechi with your business perspective and commitment to community, especially through charitable endeavors. Thank you.
And to be able to celebrate all the wonderful things going on tonight, I'm going to ask for a recess. If council would please approve this for me.
Make a motion to recess for
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Second it.
Motion by Matt, second by Todd. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. We are in recess for 10 minutes.
There is cupcakes and beverages in the lobby to participate in.
What's doing? How you been, Jack? I'm doing pretty well. Pretty good.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, sir. Good. How you guys doing? That's a good question. Well, that's a good question. I should, yeah. I would definitely stop by there if I knew where you guys were at. I really haven't. I liked that one that we went to. I was kind of disappointed. Yeah, I was disappointed that they closed. Yeah.
executive session, script somebody, okay.
We did, Brian did do the right thing before the city council and gave us the executive session link, so we're good there.
All right, we are back from recess, and we're going to move on to the next item, which is Kechi civic groups and committees. Do we have any civic groups and committees you'd like to speak? It looks like Teresa is going to speak on civic groups and committees.
I guess the only thing I would say is, this coming Saturday, the Kechi United Methodist Church, Boy Scout Pack, 404, and the Kechi Fair Committee will be putting together, holiday cheer baskets for those in our community that are in need of an extra holiday cheer. It's been an ongoing endeavor. I actually learned today that this has been going on for almost 40 years. So, that's kind of nice to, I had no idea it had been going on that long, so we're doing that this Saturday.
And then do the Boy Scouts deliver those, or?
The Boy Scout, basically people of all of those groups help deliver them. 9 o'clock.
All right, any other civic groups or committees? I see none, so we'll move on to Kechi Good News. You guys, you know me, I have 2.5 pages of Kechi Good News because it's such a good time in Kechi. But I will start with everybody else on council first to see if they have any Kechi Good News. Does anybody in the audience have Kechi Good News? If not, I can fill this. Yeah.
Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt had another surgery and he's here and seems to be doing okay.
Can't hear anybody, but I.
But he's here.
My cochlear implant surgery was last Friday. It's supposed to be February 23rd, and they they called on Tuesday and said be here Friday. So we got it done. Next week they turn it on.
I just wanted to say that the Arts Council and Chamber of Commerce had the annual Christmas party, and it was great. I got to attend.
All right. Now I'm going to do my Kechi Good News. So, the Best of Wichita 2023 came out. And we had 2 Kechi organizations on the list. The first was Bloomerang Floral and Gifts. They received 2nd place, or the Silver Award, for the 2023 Best of Wichita contest for florists. That's an incredible feat for them because they've only been open about 7 months. And I'm incredibly proud of them and happy for them to be in Kechi, so thank you for choosing Kechi for your location. The second is Bridget's Cradle, and they received 2nd place as well, or the Silver Award, for the 2023 Best of Wichita contest as a non-profit organization. And for those of you who don't know what Bridget's Cradle is, they provide hand knit and crochet cradles to hospitals in all 50 states to offer families whose babies were born into heaven in the 2nd trimester of pregnancy. They also do support for families who have experienced miscarriages, stillbirths, or infant loss. So thank you so much for what they do. There has also been a call to action for a holiday toy drive here in Kechi. Kelsey Benton put out a Facebook post asking for gently used, unwrapped toys or new toys or personal hygiene or personal items for donation. If anybody's interested, I can send you the location or let you know where to drop those presents off. And if Matt wants me to, I'll do my mayor update during this, or I can wait till the end. Which one?
We're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
You're the mayor.
Hey, I have that privilege for another 2 years. On November 14th, Councilmember Baldridge, Brewer, Hedstrom, and I, we attended the local elected officials dinner hosted by the Wichita Chamber of Commerce and REAP, which is the Regional Economic Area Partnership. This was a great event. It was beneficial for all of us to be able to network and lean in and talk to some businesses. On November 16th, I attended the Fall Mental Health Substance Abuse Coalition update. This update touched on efforts that are being made in Sedgwick County towards having a state mental hospital that would have 50 to 100 beds, This hospital would have beds specifically designated to help with the backlog of cognitive fitness tests, which would speed up the courts waiting for these evaluations, and other beds that would overflow from St. Joe Hospital. This would be an adult-only facility. They do hold a panel to discuss legislative priorities such as homelessness, sustainability of workers in the mental health/recovery fields, and medical coverage challenges for low-income individuals. After a formal meeting that was open to the public, there was a reception that I was invited to that had 10 state representatives/Senate members of Kansas to discuss the topics more in depth. It was interesting to hear perspectives on the topic and hear that it would take a bill to be considered, having somebody else write the bill and then give it to them before it would be considered. It was an honor to be invited to the table to offer my opinion on these topics, which most times we wouldn't be. On November 18th, City Administrator Matt Jensby and I attended SCAC, which is the Sedgwick County Association of Cities, meeting where we discussed ozone levels becoming too high here in Sedgwick County and the potential for being out of non-compliance in coming years. There could be changes in Sedgwick County that we would have to make and need to implement to get back into compliance, and these could affect Kechi. So we're going to wait for more information on this topic to be presented. Sedgwick County Commissioners also gave an update about some of the things that they had going on in the county. These topics included an update about the mental health hospital, again, and there was process for the unhoused initiatives and what's happening with those. They also discussed the emergency shelters that have been a huge topic in Wichita and around Sedgwick County. This was a great meeting that had discussion and helped support all the communities around us on the social issues. On November 30th, yes, I've got a bunch more. On November 30th, Councilmember Baldridge and I attended the annual meeting hosted by the Wichita Chamber of Commerce as a guest of REAP. This was a very interesting event as they brought in Marcus Lamont, who is the CEO of Camping World, as a speaker. The event started with a networking dinner, I guess, and we were able to speak with other local electeds and business owners around Wichita and Sedgwick County. This led into the program where they introduced the new Chamber of Commerce president for 2024, and his name is Jason Cox, and he is the president of Cox Machines. Marcus came on and spoke about his challenges and successes as a business leader. He really hit me with how to be a compassionate leader and how to connect with staff and members of your team. December 2nd, Councilmember Baldridge and I volunteered at Cookies with Santa here at City Hall. Santa and Mrs. Claus handed out candy canes, and families had the opportunity to make crafts and eat cookies and hot cocoa and punch before the tree lighting at the end of the night. Of course, it was a little rainy that night, so we didn't do the carols that we normally do, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but that's okay. On December 4th, I was invited to the annual meeting for the Greater Wichita Partnership. Again, this event helped outline the accomplishments for 2023, but also what they would like to accomplish in 2024. I had the pleasure of speaking with lots of business owners and networking with others who had been elected recently. On December 5th, I was a volunteer for Toys for Tots. I helped sort toys for Sedgwick County families. While I was there, I was able to speak with some organizers who were reserves with the Marine, and actually one of the Marines works for the business who did our fireworks here in Kechi for the Fall Fest, which I thought was a really interesting connection. December 7th, I attended REAP, which again is the Regional Economic Area Partnership. And at this meeting, we set priorities for 2024, but I was also nominated as Vice Chair 1 and was elected to that position. I will hold that until I am done with my term or until Commissioner Meitzner decides he no longer wants his chair's position, then I move up, which is a very strong possibility. I appreciate the appointment and feel like this is a great opportunity for Kechi to be a part of major conversations that help our area. On December 8th, I attended Bridget's ICT. Bridget's ICT was a follow-up to 2 different trainings/conversations that we had about how to help people get out of poverty and stay out of poverty. So there's multiple classes for that, and with those, I hope to help make sure that if anybody's in need, we can help them and get them into the right programs. And on December 12th, there was a town meeting, or I guess they call it a town hall with KDADs in Sedgwick County about the South Central Regional State Psychiatric Hospital. As some of you remember, Kechi did submit a letter about 2 years ago to support Sedgwick County in acquiring the money and the location to get the hospital here in Sedgwick County. The support from most, is not all the municipalities, was part of the SCAC movement. My takeaway from that meeting was the advisory board had been meeting for a little over 6 months, and the governor had awarded the money to Sedgwick County. KDADS is the organizer who is in charge of the money and how they distribute it. The initial plan is for about 50 beds for the hospital, again with the overflow, and they would get about 100 beds eventually. The locations had been narrowed down to 4 from, I think they said 11, but it may have been 14. One being an existing structure, and the other 3 would be land acquisition, and they build on it. That would lead to building a new facility. The advisory board was looking at how to staff the hospital, if it was all going to be state employees or if they're going to have some private sector's employees come in and out. Sedgwick County Commissioners were in attendance along with Mayor-elect Wu and multiple council members from Wichita and some state representatives. If you had comments or questions, they did have a way to be able to send those in, but if you have direct questions, they ask that you email your county commissioner, which is Pete Meitzner or Ryan Beatty, depending on where you live here in Kechi, or Tanya Cole, who is a Sedgwick County Assistant County Manager. And if you need those emails, I'm happy to send those. Upcoming events on December 16th, we also have Wreaths Around Americas, that's what it's called, right? At the Kechi Township Cemetery, and that's at 11 a.m., and I will be in attendance as one of the people who are putting on the wreath on. And then there's also on December 16th at 7 p.m. is a bicycle Christmas ride with Rick Patterson, and you can view the Christmas lights with your decorated bicycle as you ride around Kechi. And it will start at the Kechi Holiday House. And if you don't know what that is, then you're kind of blind because it's right there. And I swear that's it. I'm so done talking. Any other Kechi good news? I'm sure you're all tired of me. All right. We will move on to public forum. Do we have any public forum?
Joni Harris.
All right, Joni.
Joni Harris, 109 West Chippewa Street. Madam Mayor, members of the council. Tonight I'm talking about papers 457. City Council budget decision for 2024 to add additional retirement benefit of $2,600 per non-police employee and amending personnel policy for a benefit which will recur each year. This is a $28,600 impact to the general fund, gas, water, sewer, stormwater, trash recycling, in the same percentage that each employee's pay is currently split between funds. For a state deferred compensation program that is an additional savings option designed to help employees supplement their KPERS or KPNF pension. It's a personal savings plan for government employees. The program is marketed as no cost to employers and no matching is required, nor can I find any requirement for contribution from an employer. This information is easily found online. Tonight, I am asking the City Council to make a motion to rescind these monies from the 2024 City of Kechi budget and to vote no to the personnel policy changes to Article F. The City Council continues to take no action to amend policy regarding COLA to add an inflationary cap, even when advised by our previous City Administrator to do so during the budget workshop on June 3rd. This ongoing inaction has resulted in COLA increases of 5% in 2022 and 7% in 2023, with the mayor breaking the tie and voting for the increase this year. Repeated calls for the City Council to amend policies throughout 2023 has resulted in no engagement from the Council to demonstrate efforts to be more fiscally responsible with ongoing rising personnel costs.
In 2023, employees needed to take on additional financial burden for the spiraling healthcare costs associated with the city's healthcare benefits that are provided to employees. I believe it was an additional 5%. This was for budgetary reasons. Yet the City Council makes no efforts to put an inflationary cap on COLA, and now you've chosen to add a $2,600 per year additional retirement benefit over and above what the state requires, which again adds up to an annual cost of $28,600, and those funds result in additional burden upon the residents of Kechi. The reality is this results in employees receiving, although deferred, a $2,600 annual bonus. With the 2024 approved budget having only a surplus of $13,000, this decision does not appear to be fiscally responsible either. I also urge the City Council to be more transparent in the budget process going forward and require City administration to make the budget more easily accessible to residents. The residents of Kechi have indicated they desire Kechi to retain its small town size, values, and characters. Those running for elective office this year also indicated the same desire. During times of inflation and a challenging economic environment, the City Council must make tough decisions and demonstrate financial responsibility and good stewardship of taxpayer dollars and use of utility monies received. Tonight, I urge the Council to rescind the monies for Capers 457 in the 2024 budget and not approve the personnel policy changes to Article F. Thank you.
We'll move on to old business. We have no old business. We'll move on to new business. Matt.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before you, you have the agenda summary for the Capers 457 plan. As noted in there, we talked about it a little bit last council. Originally,
Paul does not have
oh,
in
Paul
front
does
of
not
us.
have it.
Sorry.
I'll give you my copy. And I'll go off memory here. Sorry.
Do you want the policy as well?
No.
For him to look at? Paul.
Do you want
Do you want the policy that's referring to?
Sure. Yeah. Prior to my arrival, the council had budgeted funds in the 2024 budget to cover these expenses. Originally, it was $2,500 per year per employee. Other than the police department is on the KPNF, which is a totally separate retirement system. The city does contribute a lot more to their portion of the retirement than they do to city employees, and this was to balance that out a little bit. So it is accounted for in the upcoming year's budget. The additional $100 increase that we talked about last council meeting was to ease in the accounting, make it a round number, so it would be $100 per pay period rather than 94 some dollars. And it was the council's consensus that we move forward with that. So what you have tonight are those two things: the approval of the additional city contribution to the Capers 457 plan. And Teresa, our finance director, can speak a little more to that if she needs to.
And then the only thing I will add is, regardless of your decision to move forward with the Capers 457, we do still need our policy to be updated, because last year, or I'm sorry, still this year, earlier this year, the council made the decision to move forward for our police department to go to the KPNF. That starts January 1. There was nothing in the previous personnel file or policies regarding that. So regardless, we do need to add the language for KPNF one way or the other, but it would all happen in, all of the changes would need to be happening if we do for 457 grant, or 457 contributions.
So do we need two motions?
No, just
No.
one motion, because it amends the personnel policy. Yes. Yes. And the copy you have with the red on it were the changes that were made to the policy.
You can
The
see
one,
that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
The one,
his is not in red, his is black and
yeah,
white.
the one following that is the formal policy.
Does the council have any questions?
Matt, the $100 is due to the rounding, and that's the only portion that we didn't budget.
That's correct, and Teresa could correct me. Without that rounding, it would be $94 and some odd cents, which would be an accounting nightmare, so that's why
We were
I just
we're
wanted to make
recommending,
sure it was.
right, and it would be an even
That's good,
$100
right.
per pay period, since there's 26 pay periods, yeah.
Any questions?
I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the personnel policy Article F, establishing guidelines for city and optional employee contributions to Keepers 457 as presented.
And second?
I have a motion by Matt, second by Todd. All in favor say aye.
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 Carries 4-0. Move on, unless there's a second part to that. Okay. Move on to the fee resolution, schedule of service, license, and permit fees. Is Teresa or?
Yeah. I can start. Mayor and council, this is just a housekeeping item that is necessary each year to approve the fees issued or levied by the city for many different things, from request documents to other fees that the city charges, and Teresa can go over those. I think there was maybe one change to a fee.
We did,
Other than that.
We did two fees, the business license application, which was, of course, a new ordinance that can force the business license. That was to go into effect on January 1st, so that was a new fee that was added, $30. And then the evidence request for the court, we are requesting that to go up to $30 to be more reflective on the cost for the city to get those documents prepared and sent out. There was one other that was really, like I said, mainly just really just cleaning up the language, and again, it was with the police department fees. It had read that it was evidence on CD. We no longer produce evidence on CDs, we do it on flash drives, so we just changed the verbiage. There was no change in the fee, because basically that fee is to cover the cost of the flash drive and not the time to prepare it, because that would be actually in the original fee for the request of evidence.
Any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move we adopt resolutions 23-758 and authorize the mayor to sign.
I'll second.
Motion by Todd, second by Kendra. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. Move on to the letter of support for Sedgwick County Emergency Shelter Unhoused Initiative.
And Mayor, this one's yours. Mayor is going to speak to the
Oh, I'm
Unhoused Initiative.
so tired of being.
I will make a comment, though, that this requires nothing of the city. It does not obligate us to anything. So, Mayor.
So this is more of what I've been listening to from Sedgwick County and throughout the last few months, with the fact that they weren't going to be able to open the winter shelter this year until Sedgwick County kind of took the initiative and brought together this homelessness task force. They ended up changing it to the unhoused task force. So historically, the issues of homelessness have been persistent for decades. There's been chronic unhoused that have affected the human dignity, economic development, and public safety in Wichita. The community initiatives are things like the Lord's Diner, which was initiated in 2001. That's been a key project that has been funded by private citizens for 22 years. And Humankind was the one who was supposed to open the winter shelter. Initially, they came out in about September saying, we can't do this, we don't have the funds, we don't have the place, we're not opening one this year. And so they were in the process of expanding, but they said, we can't expand, we can't do anything. So Humankind, the city of Wichita, Sedgwick County, they formed this partnership to open a temporary emergency shelter. And the task force involved local officials, other nonprofits, education, and private business sectors. They are seeing the unhoused numbers are going up, and the encampments in Wichita have increased. The access to affordable housing has remained a significant barrier, with over 702 individuals and families who are unhoused in Sedgwick County. And I can tell you from my other job that the number of children who are unhoused is over 1,000. It's closer to about 1,500. And these are just kids we know about. These are not kids that are not registered. So with that being said, the city of Wichita did a multi-agency center, and it aims to provide a congregated and non-congregated shelter and a resource center that will house 150 housing units, and this is over by Wichita State. It's by the Boys and Girls Club. Yes. So there was a lot of contention about where it was put. This is a 1-year thing, and they're looking at future places to be able to put it. So I want to kind of keep it on everybody's radar that this is something that's not going away. We need to keep it on our forefront and really understand this epidemic and be able to figure out how, as humans, we can help. It is not just a Wichita thing. It is not just a Sedgwick County thing. It is a human thing. So we need to keep that in our minds. They are looking at legislation to find money to be able to help build something and keep it funded, but the legislators are hesitant to bring anything to the floor because they don't want to be seen as taking one county above another. So that is a barrier for Sedgwick County. And so having our support as a community will definitely lean in on that. So there was a letter that was sent to the governor for a grant, and Kechi's name was on it. So just so everybody's aware. The proposal for a one-time fund for the state budget for the surplus is what we're looking at and hoping to build a shelter out of that. So just wanted to kind of give everybody an update. Do you all have questions? Okay.
Ashley, can I ask,
Yes.
just to clarify?
Yes.
The letter was already sent. Last I knew there was a draft version. Did they?
They sent it with my name on it.
Okay.
Just my name.
Gotcha.
So, but
And
City of
again-
Kechi is next to it. Nobody else signed it. It just was me.
And again, it's just a letter of support, obligates us to nothing.
Yes, nothing. All right. Last item, and it's again me, isn't it?
Madam Mayor, this is yours again.
I know. You put them back to back after I had 8,000 things to talk about. Okay, so this is something that I have been working on for a while. On the agenda, it's called Honorary Mayor for a Day program. What this is I'm asking middle schoolers from grades 6th, 7th, and 8th grade to have a chance to experience being mayor for a day here in Kechi, an honorary mayor for a day, gaining a unique insight into civic leadership. So I'm going to encourage young leaders to explore and express their love for Kechi, delving into the rich history through historic landmarks and celebrating the vibrancy of our community and what makes Kechi special. So participants are invited to share their passion for Kechi through a creative essay ranging from one paragraph to one page, allowing them to freely express what they find most captivating about their hometown, or if you just moved here, your town. The exciting reward for the lucky winner is not only to become honorary mayor for a day, but also enjoy exclusive opportunities, including meeting city staff, having lunch with city leaders, and sharing their perspective at a city council meeting. So, submission deadlines. The essay will be accepted from January 1st, 2024 through January 25th, 2024. And then these will all be sent out to city council members and myself, and then we will choose a winner of who gets to be honorary mayor for a day. And this will be sent out. How did we decide it was going to be sent out?
Yeah, we'll get with the paper and
Yes.
put it on our website and Facebook page and some of those other sites that we can push information out to people.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Any questions? All right. Thank goodness. I think I'm close to done to talking. Next item is the executive session. Todd, take us away.
What's the,
It's a time.
Oh, it is, what is our purpose here?
So we will need two tonight. One is for attorney-client privilege. The other is for non-elected personnel.
How long?
First one,
5 minutes?
10 minutes.
alright, so, 8,
11.
Madam Mayor, I move we go into executive session. The subject to be discussed during the executive session is attorney-client privilege. The justification for closing the meeting is discussion relating to attorney-client privilege, and the time and place with the open meeting shall resume is 8:12 in the city council chamber.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion by Todd, second by Matt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 4. city council and law in executive session. Go ahead, Todd.
How long?
10 minutes.
15?
15.
15? 15. Madam Mayor, I move we go into executive session. The subject to be discussed during the executive session is non-elected personnel. The justification for closing the meeting and discussion relating to non-elected personnel matters and the time and place at which the open meeting shall resume is 8:30 in the city council chamber.
Right here, second. Okay, motion by Todd, second by Kendra. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. We're in executive session. Just can't up on the same line.
As we return to regular meeting, I want to remind everyone that pursuant to Kansas Open Meeting Statutes, no binding action was taken by the City Council while in executive session. Okay, Matt, last thing, if you want to go ahead and say your
I just
thing.
want to let anybody in the audience know that tomorrow between 10 and 11, I will make myself available if anybody has questions about anything that happened tonight. Other than executive sessions, I cannot discuss those, but any agenda items that you have questions on, please come talk to me.
All right, well, thank you. I have one last comment. I know that we have had this format for the agenda for a long time, but we are at the end now going to add either staff updates and mayor and council updates as well, so that I don't have to read those long things in Kechi Good News, because even though I think they're great, that's more of an update, not Kechi Good News. And then staff,
Yes,
so we'll have staff reports.
Kind of the format that I presented to the mayor was we will, rather than the Kechi Good News, we will still keep that. Council members, however, will save their comments to the end of the meeting. After we get through old business, new business, we will have council update where council people, councilmen can give any updates they want of things they've been involved in, similar to what Mayor did tonight. And then at the last meeting of each month, the second meeting, we will have staff reports. So the police chief, public works, myself, HR, finance, we will all give a brief summary of things that we have done that month. Just kind of a high level overview, just to bring transparency to what we're doing and make sure everybody's on the same page.
All right, any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Paul, second by Todd. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 4-0. We are now adjourned.